All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra Tutorials channel. I'm your host, Larry, and today we're going to be mocking up a picture for a sauce label. In this case, it's going to be a hot sauce label, using this mock-up image that I pulled off of Google Images, and also this sample image from somebody who's making these with Canva. We're just going to use this generic sort of like placeholder image to mock up a hot sauce bottle here today and show you how you can handle mocking up a bottle when it's round or cylinder shaped as opposed to, you know, just like a regular box or a bag of chips. So the first thing we need to do is grab our hot sauce logo. I'm just going to grab this. I don't need the secondary information, so I'm just going to kind of chop it off by just copying the middle part, because for this particular mock-up, we only need to see the main logo and everything. And then I'm going to go back over here, paste that, hide it for the moment, and I'm going to grab this image. I'm going to hit the magic wand tool, but you can pick any selection tool you want. And then I'm going to hit the select subject button here at the top of the screen. This is going to hopefully grab just our bottle, which it's done. And I'm going to copy and paste that so we have isolated just our object, because we're going to use a clipping mask. We can also use a regular mask in order to fit the hot sauce label onto this bottle. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to grab this logo, and I'm going to hold Alt and hover at the bottom of this particular object in my layers window. At the bottom edge, you'll get this little square with an arrow, and we're going to click. That's going to convert that into a clipping mask. You can also right click it and then create clipping mask is here at the bottom, Alt Control G. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to force the image above the main object to only appear where the object is visible, so that it doesn't escape and kind of like appear anywhere else. And then we're just going to edit this. Actually, first we're going to make this into a smart object. For people who watched previous mock-up videos, you'll know that making it with a smart object is just a really good way to make it easy to swap in and out alternative designs without having to completely recreate the mock-up. And then we're going to just edit this down so that it kind of fits generally where that label already is in the pre-existing image. But the problem is that you can kind of see this is sort of rounded here at the top, and it's also rounded at the bottom. So how do I recreate that? Well, Photoshop has got your back. So we're going to go to Edit, we're going to go to Transform, and we're going to go to Warp. And when you warp an object, you can generally like kind of switch it around like this, but we don't want to do that. There's actually a preset inside of the warp tool. Up at the top, there is a warp type. We want to go down to the cylinder warp, which is going to make it cylinder shape. And we're going to adjust where it appears by dragging this up to where it'll be kind of flat. And we'll drag the whole image up so that it kind of fits up in here. And we're going to make it slightly concave downwards so that when we pull it up like this, it fits properly. See that? So now we've got this line at the top of the image aligned. Now we need to do the bottom. So to do the bottom, we're going to need to bring the whole image, or the side of the image, up a little bit, just a teens. And then we're going to need to drag this little lip down to meet with the rounded portion at the bottom. And we also want this, even though this mock-up looks like it was partially generated by an AI or something, we want this to go all the way to the edge of the bottle on both sides, like it would actually look in real life. We're going to actually want to let that overlap it a little bit. That way, when we make adjustments, it won't look like it's trying to escape. And then we'll be able to hit enter once we've got it aligned the way that we want. And you can also control how much the center stretches by clicking this little square in the middle and dragging it out to the sides. So that looks pretty good. We're going to hit enter, or done. Now as we zoom out, that looks pretty good, but there's only one detail that's missing. It's not blended very well with the shadows and the real world look of this bottle. So to fix that, we want to multiply this image. So take this image at the top that says hot sauce whatever, and we're going to blend that with multiply so that it looks more like the bottle is a part of it and not that it's just some stuff we stuck on it. Now, because this is a darker label, it doesn't quite blend the way that I really want it to necessarily, but it's darker on this side than it is on this side. But what we can also play around with is double clicking it, the layer, and then here at the top are some blending options and the layer stylings options. And we can see if we grab and drag these other stoppers down here, we can get a little bit of that sort of white highlight back. And then if we drag the other side, we might be able to get a little bit of the blending back over there, but not so much. And to pull these in parts, because these sliders normally go in one giant piece, you can grab them with Alt and drag them over, both the top and the bottom, which will affect how they currently blend with the bottom layer and also with the top. And the easiest way to see if this will help what you're trying to do is to just drag them around a little bit and see what those do. If I hit OK, that looks pretty good. That looks like a bottle that's ready to razzle the dazzle. And if I put it back in the scene, definitely looks more like it belongs here. And then we can even adjust it with a curves layer, just the layer below. And now we can just fiddle with it so it looks like it blends really naturally with this image. In fact, lightening that up a little bit actually made this whole thing fit with the background even better too. So that's it. That's how you adjust a hot sauce label and mock it up so that it appears as if it properly lives on this bottle. You can use a picture of a pre-existing bottle too if you want, but keep in mind that if you don't want it when you add a blend mode to it suddenly appear the branding from somebody else's label, just select the label here on the bottle and then draw over it with like just a flat white or something like that so that it's a solid color so you don't have to worry about it, looking funny when you blend these two objects together. You're gonna have to remove the original label so you can add a new label. But you can generally, if you just Google for like blank mockup files, people have been generating and making these both like in real world scenarios with photography and with like 3D rendering software for eons as far as the internet's concerned. So go grab yourself the images that you need to try to test this out, and happy mockups. So that'll be it. Bye everybody and have a good one.